The Bourne Supremacy is the second movie in the Bourne trilogy, this one directed by Paul Greengrass. Now, The Bourne Identity I thought was an awesome movie. I loved the mystery in that movie, I loved Matt Damon's performance as Jason Bourne, and I loved the action throughout it. And naturally, when a movie is that good, it does make you wonder how well a sequel is gonna do compared to it. And I will say right off the bat, while I don't think The Bourne Supremacy is as good as The Bourne Identity, I still think it is an awesome movie as well. First of all, I love how the beginning of this movie shows that Bourne and Marie, they're still in hiding from everybody, they're still living together, and Jason Bourne is still trying to fully figure out what exactly his past was like. Because at the end of The Bourne Identity, we discovered that Jason Bourne was basically the greatest assassin to ever live. He now doesn't want to be a part of that life anymore, but he still wants to know exactly the kind of missions that he was on and what pain he might have caused towards certain people. It's right here you see the support that Marie gives to him in wanting to help him figure everything out, in wanting to help him cope with his past. It's just a moment that really brings up the great chemistry they have together and something that really does make you buy the relationship that they have. But as I had mentioned, the two of them are still in hiding. There are people out there who still want Jason Bourne dead, and the people out there who do want him dead have sent this assassin after him, played by Carl Urban. He has tracked Bourne and Marie down in Goa. He's now chasing after them in what's a really intense and awesome car chase scene. But then towards the end of the scene comes definitely one of the more heartbreaking moments of this movie. Carl Urban takes his shot that was intended for Jason Bourne, but he didn't realize that Marie was actually the one driving the car that they were in, and Marie is instead shot and killed. And it's just a moment that really makes you feel for Jason Bourne, because not only did he just lose the woman he loves, but he also lost essentially the only person that he's known since he lost his memory. And immediately once you see it happen, it has you sitting there like, oh yeah, you're all dead now. And that's one of the areas that I love about The Bourne Supremacy. It's a revenge movie. Matt Damon is on a mission to find the people who sent the assassin to kill him, which instead killed Marie, and he's gonna stop at nothing to avenge her death. But along the way, Jason Bourne still needs to avoid people who are looking for him. One in particular is new CIA Director Pamela Landy, and she's coming after Jason Bourne for a couple of reasons. Number one, she believes Jason Bourne is connected towards something known as the Nevsky Files. Landy has been investigating into this incident because it revolved around a former CIA agent named Nevsky who was apparently murdered by his wife, who then killed herself. Landy, however, after doing her digging, comes to the conclusion that Jason Bourne and Conklin just might have been involved in this. She also wants to find Jason Bourne because his fingerprints were found at a theft of $20 million. And one of the other things that I love about The Bourne Supremacy is the conflict between Pamela Landy and head of Treadstone, Ward Abbott. Because both of them have entirely different ideas and methods towards going about Jason Bourne. On one hand, you have Pamela Landy, who wants to bring him in to interrogate him and figure out if he has been involved in these crimes. And on the other hand, you have Abbott, who feels Bourne should just be killed as quickly as possible because he knows how dangerous Bourne is as an assassin. He remembers the threat that Jason Bourne gave Treadstone at the end of The Bourne Identity, and that was if they didn't leave him alone, there was going to be consequences. And he knows consequences are going to come if they don't kill him. It's one of those areas where you do see both sides of the argument here, and I love when a movie does that. Later on in the movie, Jason Bourne ends up getting identified by security. These CIA agents, they bring Jason Bourne in, they try to interrogate him, but yeah, in a matter of about 15 seconds, he just knocks all of them the fuck out. But it's also in this moment that Jason Bourne is able to copy the SIM card to one of these agents, and through this is able to overhear a phone call with Pamela Landy talking about the crimes that he might have committed. It's in this moment Jason Bourne now discovers that he's being framed for something that he didn't do, and with that, he decides to go meet with Jarda, who's the only other remaining member of the Treadstone operative. It's at this point Jarda reveals to Jason Bourne that after Conklin's death, Treadstone was shut down. And then from there, we get a really awesome throwdown between these two. It's a really awesome, exciting fight, even though it did get a little shaky cam at times. But it makes for some really great entertainment just seeing these two highly skilled assassins trying to kill each other. So Jason Bourne is able to kill Jarda, and now he intends to figure out what it is that the CIA is after him for. It's in this moment Jason Bourne is able to figure out Pamela Landy's location, and with that he climbs to the top of the roof, armed with a sniper aimed at her and is now on a phone call with her. And what I love about this moment is you see the fear in everyone's eyes in this building. They have no idea where Jason Bourne is, but they do know that he's out there watching them. And the look on all of their faces, you would guess that at least half of them shit their pants. And it's in this moment Bourne tells Landy that he's willing to talk, but he will only speak with former Treadstone technician Nikki Parsons. So with that, he does meet up with Nikki, and she's of course terrified of Jason Bourne because she doesn't exactly know what he's gonna do to her. But it's in this moment, as he's interrogating Nikki, that Bourne starts to experience these flashbacks of what went down in the mission towards Nevsky. So with that, Bourne goes to visit the hotel where he had killed Nevsky, and he realizes in this moment that although he had killed Nevsky, once his wife had showed up, he had killed her and made the whole thing look like it was a murder-suicide. It's in this moment you just further see the toll that this all takes on Jason Bourne. He's learning more about his past, he's learning more about his missions as an assassin, and more about the lives that he had took. And you just see the toll that it takes on him. It really makes you feel for him. But now that Jason Bourne has learned from Nikki Parsons that Abbott is the true head of Treadstone, Bourne now goes to confront him. After holding Abbott at gunpoint, he reveals to Bourne that he had set Bourne up for stealing the money. He also ordered Bourne to murder Nevsky, and he had also sent Karl Urban to murder Jason Bourne in Goa, which led to the death of Marie. And it's in this moment Abbott feels, and we feel, that Jason Bourne is going to kill him, because that has been his motive this whole time. He wanted to take down the people who killed Marie. But it's in this moment Jason Bourne comes to his senses, and he realizes that this isn't what Marie would want him to do. His past was all about killing people, and although he does want revenge against Abbott, he knows that killing him won't help him get over what he did in his past. It's a really great moment that really does show the character development in Jason Bourne for this movie, which I think is awesome. Abbott has discovered that Bourne ended up recording this conversation between them, and with that, Bourne is able to deliver this information to Landy to clear his name. But it doesn't really matter, because earlier on, when Landy tried to confront Abbott about Bourne and her suspicions that she has towards Abbott, Abbott instead just chose to kill himself. Towards the end of the movie, Bourne is now in Moscow, but Karl Urban is still after him, sent by Abbott's partner Gretkov. And now we get another even better high-speed chase between Karl Urban and Jason Bourne. I mean, it's way more of a high-speed chase. You feel like the stakes are much more higher in this. There are a lot of police vehicles that are trying to interfere with the two of them. It just added a lot more to this scene. So yeah, it's exciting, it's awesome, and finally Jason Bourne is able to stop Karl Urban from pursuing him by just crashing him and his car into a concrete wall. With that, Jason Bourne walks away from his own car because he knows Karl Urban is probably not going to be walking after that crash. And then we get towards the very end of this movie, and here's what comes another really heartbreaking scene. Jason Bourne visits with Irina Nevsky, the daughter of Vladimir Nevsky, you know, the guy he had murdered. And it's in this moment he sits down with Irina and he tells her that he was the one responsible for the death of her parents. That her mother did not kill her father, and her mother also didn't kill herself. Their deaths were his fault. He apologizes to her. You see her just crying. But what I do feel is nice about this moment is Jason Bourne has essentially given her some relief. She no longer has to live the rest of her life thinking that her mother went and killed her father and then ended her own life. Jason Bourne took the high road and he met with this girl to tell her the truth. And I think that makes for a really satisfying ending for this movie. And also really makes you continue to see just how much Jason Bourne is continuing to develop as a character in these movies. So all in all, The Bourne Supremacy is an awesome movie. Matt Damon just continues to kill it as Jason Bourne. It's great seeing how much his character grows throughout this movie. Seeing him at first on a quest for revenge, seeing him kicking ass throughout this movie, to learning more and more about his past and becoming to realize that revenge is not what would give him peace in his life. I love the new characters in this movie. I love seeing the conflict between Landy and Abbott because both of them have good points and wanted to go after Bourne for their own reasons. The fight scenes are awesome. The action is intense. The story, once again, is so unique and it's great. The one gripe that I do have with this movie, and it is kind of a small one, is some of the action in this movie did get shaky cam at times. But in the end, The Bourne Supremacy is another great addition to the Bourne franchise, and I am so happy that Paul Greengrass is returning to direct Jason Bourne because he really started to show in this movie that he is the perfect director for these movies. So that's all I gotta say, guys. Thank you so much for watching my video. Don't forget to leave a comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you all next time.